My name is Mark Dixon, M-A-R-K-D-I-X-O-N. And I'll be attending the COP21 climate negotiations in Paris this December, where the world's eyes will be focused on America and a few other major industrialized nations, urging us, to put in place an agreement sufficient to hold our global temperatures below 2°C, and maybe even 1.5°C if we're lucky. The Clean Power Plan under review today is an integral part of our intended nationally determined contribution, or INDC, our negotiating position at this summit. Some would say that your plan is visionary, powerful, or a good start. I say that it is pathetically insufficient. The United Nations itself has determined that the combined INDCs leading into COP21 are only sufficient to keep temperatures below 2.7°C above pre-industrial levels. And other smart analysts think those commitments may only limit warming to about 3.5°C. And NASA's own scientist, James Hansen, has even called the 2°C target catastrophic. He advocates for less than 1°C of warming. It's like you're designing a space shuttle that gets halfway into orbit before falling back to Earth, exploding and killing large portions of humanity in the process. And you're asking us to comment on this plan. Sure, getting halfway into orbit is a good start. You could even say that we're headed in the right direction. But if, by design, the ship is doomed to failure, then I think that you need to go back to the drawing board and come back with a plan for an orbit-ready spacecraft. And in the meantime, while we wait for you to figure out how to politely ask businesses to remove the CO2 from their climate-destroying energy facilities, we in Pittsburgh and Detroit suffer with some of the worst air quality in the country. I'm stuck designing and building a homemade air filter fan to try to clean my indoor air. Here again, my description of your plan as pathetically insufficient seems relevant. I got the idea for that fan from a blog from a guy in China. Indeed, at times it feels like I'm talking to a very polite wall, begging for those in power to hear my cry. It reminds me of the refugees in Europe, pleading with the walls of administrators, and sometimes just pleading with brick walls, desperate and aching to be heard by anybody who will listen and help. It turns out that your very own National Academy of Science has done a bit of research into the sea level impacts of climate change, and Climate Central built from those numbers to determine that at 3°C above pre-industrial levels, which your plan helps us to accomplish, we will see between 250 and 600 million people displaced by sea level rise. And you think that we have an illegal immigration problem now? If we took 1 second of silence for each climate refugee, we could very well be here for 19 years. But I have 5 minutes, so in my remaining time, I would like you to simply reflect on some of the many climate refugees that your plan creates. A family that loses everything. A farmer forced to leave family land. A teenager forced to steal to keep from starving. A child with no home. With no country. Multiplied by millions. Imagine one such refugee. Now 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 million, 160 million, 600 million. Thank you for your time.
Next, I'd like to call Diana Morales.